What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grant. You're watching Urban Nerd. This channel I give my nerd views on today's nerd news. I also do movie reviews, and today's movie review that I'm going to do is Long Shot. Now, if you don't know, Long Shot is pretty much an odd couple story. It stars Seth Rogen, who plays Fred Flarsky, who's a free spirit journalist who pretty much just tells it how it is. And he gets reunited with Charlotte Fields, who is now a politician, actually Secretary of the State, who used to actually be his babysitter, but only because like 3 years difference. She's only 3 years old or whatever. But the story is about them somehow reuniting at a dinner or something like that, and he leaves an impression on her. She looks into his writing and likes his writing, so she ends up hiring him to be a speechwriter for her. And that's where the story pretty much follows. We follow them as their relationship blossoms. Now, I'm gonna say this, like usually I kind of tell you how I feel, like kind of generally how I feel, and I liked it. I liked the movie. The movie, it definitely had a heart and a charm to it. It did a lot of things that are very common in these types of movies, but it also did some very shocking things. It had some of those what the F moments, sort of like Something About Mary, you know? Definitely leaves impression, and it definitely stays in your head, and you're laughing throughout this because this is a comedy, a romantic comedy, pretty much what it is, and it's very funny. It hits on a lot of things, and like I'm gonna just tell you right now, when you see this little tattoo, oh my God, you're gonna be dying. It's not a major part of the story, but it's definitely something that, like I said, is one of those comedies that leaves an impression on you. And I don't know, this might become popular. Hopefully, because like I'm hoping it doesn't get swallowed up by, the second week of Avengers Endgame, because this is a very good movie. It's very charming, and you'll like it. I'm gonna tell you this movie hit really close to me because I'm gonna get real with y'all, right? This movie, if you look at it, it looks like just one of those underdog movies, like one of those movies where the girl that's way out of the guy's league, somehow to get it. But it's a little bit more than that. It's actually sort of like the one that got away. Because when they were kids, when she was babysitting them, there was a moment between them. And it's a definitely funny moment. Like I said, this thing's got some great comedy. It's a funny moment between them, but nothing really acquires to it. Like nothing, goes from that moment. But that's why when they reunite, there's a little spark there. But it's one of those movies where it makes you think about past relationships for yourself, because this is one of those movies, like I said, that sort of out of the league. And there's been relationships, we've all been in relationships where we've been with people that we might think is out of our leagues, but you end up realizing that, you guys really do care about each other, and maybe even love each other. And this also hits on those moments where you realize that your words are completely different, and you want it to work and you hope it works, but in the end it doesn't. And then sort of you think it might be the one that got away, but then it's like you look back as far as the relationship, you're like, how could it have worked? Because their lives, like say if the person parties too much or something, like, or does something, and it's like you're not the type of person, and but yet when you guys are alone and together, that's when you guys click. That's when the world just fades away and you realize that this is the person you love. But outside of everything, your worlds are colliding and it's not meshing together. And that's where it kind of got emotional for me, because this movie made me think of past relationships, and it made you think of like you know what? How come things like this, like, these movies, it's like formulaic in a way that these romantic comedies, the people that are together, love interest, somehow something happens close to the end where it makes them split up or whatever, and like it's over, but yet in the end it all works out. And that's where this movie kind of like doesn't fail for me, but it's very formulaic, where what's gonna happen. They just sort of pretty much lay it out for you, so what's gonna happen, but when it happens you're not shocked, but it's gonna work out. And it's like that's why this movie, if I had to give it a grade, I would probably give it a B+. If you ask me, like sometimes on other things, because it was a great movie, it was very funny, I enjoyed it pretty much all the way through. But it was formulaic as far as you could see everything that's happening. But it's still, I'm not deterred in the fact that, it's really fun, very heartwarming. It makes you think about, like, you wish that there would have been that happy ending for the one that got away or the one that you, like, loved or whatever, but it just, you realize it doesn't work out. And, like, I'm not saying for anybody to try and go back to anybody that where it doesn't work out, but sometimes you just wish things worked out like in these movies. But it doesn't. So, there's always going to be others. But with this movie, you're rooting for them. You're rooting for Seth Rogen. You're rooting for Charlize Theron. And I tell you right now, O'Shea Jackson, he's sort of like a standout because, like, he's a best friend, and I wish he was my boss. With, like, telling everybody to, like, when your best friend is having a down day, and the guy's the best friend, he just gives off his whole people, his whole crew, his employees, because he doesn't want to do nothing. I'm sorry, I would love a boss like that. But otherwise, this movie is a great movie. I say just, try and see this, because I'm sure everyone wants to see Avengers Endgame for like a third or fourth time. But, like, this one's a nice little gem, and I say you should watch it. You should check it out. It's very, and this movie was directed by Jonathan Levine or like Levine or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how, and he did a great job. And like I said, O'Shea Jackson, straight out of Compton, like he did a great job as a best friend. Like you wish you had a friend like him. But the relationship and the odd couple, the way it works with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen, it's right on the money. And you wouldn't think it works, but Seth Rogen, time after time, he's showing he's a great comedic actor, and but he knows how to just do these great romantic comedies, like Knocked Up and all these other things. He's just good at this, and I love this movie. But at the same time, it's very formulaic, so that's why it gets a B+ for me. So that's pretty much my review. I'm sorry I didn't want to go too deep as far as relationship, but this is the type of movie that makes you think about those things when you're watching it. So remember, if you like this video, put those likes on, comment down below if you feel the same way I feel, and just let me know how this movie what it did for you, So remember to subscribe, check out my last review, check out my playlist of my reviews. Remember, I'm Wes Grant. You've been watching Sub Urban Nerd, and you've just been notified. Catch you guys on the next review.